Right, hello everyone and welcome to the Cone Racing League. We are here for Season 7 Round 1 of the Tier 2 Cone Racing Championship, and I am joined today by Adrian.
Hello.
A good friend of mine. First time, I think it's our first time commentating together.
Yeah.
Certainly the first time I've commentated in a little while. Missed the tail end of last season for Tier 2. But back with an internet that's now playing ball, and we should hopefully be starting up the qualifying fairly soon. Racing at China today, full grid of 20 drivers and first round of the season, so not too sure who's going to be placing where. Of course we know some of the quicker drivers, some of the slower drivers anyway from previous seasons, but yeah, looking forward to the race.
Me too.
I believe drivers, they've been given the go-ahead. I'm not sure if they have, but I think they're about to be given the go-ahead.
I mean, about 4 of them are ready up, so...
Yeah, I think they are. Yep, there we go. Drivers now given the ready up, so a short quali starting soon. 18 minutes if I remember rightly.
Yeah, 18.
I don't play this game enough myself, just to commentate, and it's been quite a while since last time. So,
yeah.
There we go. Nice to see Dragon on in the stream.
Generally speaking, 18 minutes is good for 3 runs if you're quick. If you're quick about your in-laps and out-laps, though some people will only do 2. So,
Yeah,
it's
we'll have
interesting to see who tries to save tires for the race with that.
Yeah, now I think in terms of drivers who it's their first time to race in CRL, I didn't see if Pat Sajapsa was in, but it'd be his first race, and also one of the reserves this time being War Daddy. Have we got? Don't think we have Jasper. But yeah, War Daddy is his first time racing in CRL, so hopefully he has good fun, a full grid. But China,
good luck to him.
Open to plenty of chaos.
Yeah, there's a couple long winding corners here that will be interesting to see how the drivers take. Allows for quite a few different lines through them, especially the turn 1 and 2.
Right, so now it's a game of who is going to be the first drivers out of the pit lane. Actually, this track made notorious by Captain Nick for trying to avoid getting disqualified and in the process getting in front of Tobes. Right, Strauss and Indian Jesus soon to be leaving the pit lane. Also see move for Jet and Clerpiar, and I guess quite a lot of the rest of the field. One of the Hasses up ahead. Do not know if that is Nulzy or T-Griff.
T-Griff, yeah.
Yeah, so T-Griff, our first man out on track. We'll hop on with him before his outlap. It seems everyone, of course, choosing the softs. They can choose any strategy they want to start off the race. Right, apparently, Adrian, you're echoing a little bit. I'm going to try and sort that if I can. How do this? Right, hopefully there's now a bit less of an echo.
We shall find out, I guess.
Which I think probably I turned you down a little bit more than I should have. Right, apologies for the technical side of things. First time streaming together, so need to make sure we've got the audio balance all nicely up. And just in time for T-Griff to start the first lap. I'll let you talk through the lap, Adrian.
Alright. It's important to get a good run out of the last corner. Pit straight's always important on laps. You need to start it off as fast as you can. Lots of interesting lines you can take through turn 1 and 2. Most will cut to the inside like he does there. Some like to run a bit wider to go hit the apex there. Into the left-hander. Got to get the acceleration light. Careful on the throttle and out on your way down to this hairpin. 24.5 in the first sector. Out of the hairpin, hitting the throttle. This is a very interesting S. I've found you can take it flat out in the right gear, certainly in time trial. I'm not sure here. For the right-hander, of course not, though. And this is much more technical bit with this double left. Careful not to run too wide here. Right tire goes onto the green stuff, but now through sector 2, that was a 52.0, I think. Easy to spin through this long right. It's important to get good traction onto the long straight. Straight line speed is very important down here.
Of course, going to be the
DRS.
Main overtaking zone down into this hairpin.
Definitely. We've seen some incidents in real F1 as he stamps on the brakes, turns right, good exit from the hairpin, careful on the throttle, and you do not want to run wide through the last corner. He does a good job of keeping it on track, and he goes across the line for a 32.9.
Right, let's see where the other drivers all match up. Next one, Alfa Romeo, Strauss 33.7, Tobes 33.4, and then Ferrari crossing the line, though possibly on an outlap. Hobbsy will be the next man now, coming through the last corner. Can he knock T-Griff off the top? No, he can't. 33.8, slotting just behind his teammate Claire PR. Bit of a slow one from him. Farrell up to P2 there with a 32.9. Steiny, I think, on a bit of a slow lap as is Deroy up into P3, though DC taking that P3 off him, pushing Deroy down to P4. Let's have a look. One of the new drivers, Wardaddy, see where he slots in with the rest of the order. 33.7 for the new driver, straight up the front, 2/10 lead over the next closest. And we've got
channeling his inner Verstappen there, taking the Red Bull right up to the front of the grid.
Yeah, an Alpine, possibly Steiny, next man to the line. Keep an eye on the board, and he puts it in P6, a 33.2. On board at the moment with Liam, who looks like he's positioned himself perfectly for a bit of slipstream from the McLaren driver just ahead of him. Possibly Tobes, possibly DeWill there. So moving out the way. Can we see which driver that is? Not from there, we'll have to have a look.
It was
later.
Tobes that was there.
Hello Nathan in the chat. See then Liam rounding final bend. Where is he going to end up? Second, just behind Wardaddy. In fact, exactly 300ths behind.
Wow.
17 drivers now set a lap, although I think DeWill mistake somewhere on his.
Yeah, DeWill spun on his lap through the S's.
Fairly tight.
That would explain the low time.
Fairly tight field, certainly from first down to 15th. Just 1.2 seconds for the top 15 drivers. Jet now goes a bit deep into that last corner and always spun. Guess went a bit too wide having gone deep. That's put him round. He's not going to have the quickest time and he's not going to have the cleanest tyres. He'll be looking to then come into the pit to give them a change for his next flying lap.
Yeah, that's a pretty painful place to spin. Of course, if you're on a hot lap, you've made a mistake at the final corner, just when you had to finally put it all together and finish off the lap. But on top of that, it ruins your next lap as well. So it's really just a set of tires that ends up wasted.
Yeah, DeWill now we saw after the second sector 14.4 seconds up it looked like. Needs to find a little bit more time. Of course, this last sector, previous lap wouldn't have been as fast either. I think he's going to slot in about 12th, 13th maybe place here. And up into 9th, just ahead of his McLaren teammate.
Impressive.
Not bad for the Frenchman. Certainly has a very good history in CRL. One of... Ooh, jump on board with Indian Jesus as he goes for a spin there in the first sector. Now, gonna have to hope he doesn't unghost in front of someone else. That is, of course, where Captain Nick had his notorious event of reversing. And wait to have space to get back on the track. We'll hop on board with his teammate Cole Paradox. Neither of the Alfa Tauris yet to set a lap. And the other AlphaTauri's gone for a spin. Not very good luck for the Italian team so far.
Yeah, pretty... not at all the ideal start to the season. But, I mean, qualifying, you know, it can be important, especially at certain tracks, but I'd say China offers ample amount of overtaking opportunities, so I'd say, you know, these two will probably set their laps, but even if something happens and they can't, you know, I think they'll be able to make up for it, though Cole Paradox doesn't have a front wing anymore, so he'll be pitting.
Yeah, I did see that was completely knocked off. Now I'm just trying to find now how the overall standings are looking in terms of teams-wise. Don't know, I don't think they've yet been updated, there won't be until after this race. I'm wondering how AlphaTauri did in tiers 3 and 4. And if it's all of them struggling, or just the two boys in tier 2 at the moment. Hello person in the chat, I honestly don't recognise that name, but hello.
Indian Jesus pit, so presumably he had some wing damage. This game, it's, even if it doesn't look like someone has wing damage, they can get it, and it's just not noticeable. It's, with the new game and the new car models, they haven't done a perfect job of, you know, showing off car damage. But,
ooh,
so,
and T-Griff going for a spin. Sorry to interrupt you there. T-Griff going round in, I think, and I think it's been a different place to the two AlphaTauri drivers as well.
I think that's the same place as Cole Paradox, actually. Could be wrong, though.
Possibly might be right. I'm trying to find one of the drivers near the front looking to improve the lap. I think Farrell will be the next one. And, right, KXI, okay. Then I do recognise that name.
Oh, and Indian Jesus retires from the session, so he'll be starting in last.
I do wonder then if he has a quali. Yeah, no, okay. Indian Jesus does have a quali ban. I didn't even think to check which of the drivers did.
And we've got the Williams on top of Farrell now, 32.6. Drabs goes third.
Hop on board with Knowlesy towards the back end of the pack at the moment. See how much improvement he can do. Up to P13. So it seems struggling a little bit with this track. It's always good to move up the order.
War Daddy seems to have had it. No, that lap time was glitched for me, I think. I think War Daddy's starting a lap now, though.
And,
oh, it's Steiny goes second.
Steiny, yeah, up into P2.
600ths between him and War Daddy, though.
Yeah, the two reserves on the grid stay, War Daddy and DeRoy, who are currently P3 and P9 as Captain Nick jumps into P6, although Tobes drops that down to P7, and Tobes himself on provisional pole. 6 minutes left to go.
Wow.
So he'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, that's a very impressive lap.
Tobes, the driver, has been with Tier 2 a very long time. Though the pace of Tier 2 gradually improving every season. See Jet a little bit off the pace after his spin coming out of the last corner. See what he can do. A little bit of a lock up perhaps into that corner. Not the ideal line, but not too bad for the Mercedes driver. No, into the pit lane for him. Guess he wants to set yet another lap. And actually seeing this pit entry is reminding me of the two important things that happened in the China pit entry. Number one, 2007 Chinese Grand Prix. A certain 7-time world champion threw away a possible 8 by going straight onto the gravel trap, being Hamilton. Missed his braking point into the gravel trap.
Season, though.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah.
When I was but a young boy. And
God.
And then the other one, being Vettel doing his double overtake under safety car in the pit entry, knowing the rules. Clip that I'm sure plenty of F1 fans have seen. Out de Wilt coming to the line, improving by 2.5 seconds, but actually a bit of a gap in the standings there timing wise, and all he does is close the gap down to 10th place. So remaining P11 for him, but a bit more safety to the drivers behind. Okay, now I assume DC is on an in-lap, as currently nearly 7 minutes on his lap time.
It doesn't seem to be. Starting a lap then, presumably.
Actually, no, that said 1:33.0 there.
Yeah, I think I mean, look at his current time. I think it just does that when you cross the line if you don't improve, possibly. Or maybe it's if you invalidate it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see how he does this lap. And hello, Jacob, in the chat again. Right, and I assume you're racing in Tier 1 later. Here we go, DC, one of the drivers who's been here for ages, and of course one of the head admins of CRL. We've been graced with the presence of 2 of them on this grid.
Wow.
Both Real DC and Freefall, the newest head admin.
DC's purple through the second sector, according to the track map.
Yeah, a driver who can be very, very quick at times. We've seen him take plenty of wins, been in his fair share of championship fights.
Something I forgot to mention earlier that I saw DC doing, through that double left near the end of Sector 2, short shifting can be extremely helpful for traction, and traction is a big thing out of those corners, going down to the left-right chicane that leads on to the long straight.
And DC, again, remaining in the 9th position, found a bit of time, but not enough to gain any positions. As Jacob, Tobes my goat. How much has Tobes got? Just shy of half a tenth to Farrell. Very, very close field. Jet yet to set another lap. And Cole Paradox actually just leaving the pit lane now as I speak.
So you said Indian Jesus had a qualifying ban, right?
Yes.
Okay, I had forgotten about that. I raced in Tier 3 a bit last season as a reserve, and became full-time driver for the final race of the season. He was my teammate there. He is extremely quick. It'll be very interesting to see what he can do in the race, I'd say. I would not be surprised to see him gaining quite a few positions and making it into the top 12 for some points. But I don't really know the pace of the Tier 2 grid quite as well. So, be interesting to see in the race for that, and of course his teammate on an out lap. Be interesting to see what he can do here in qualifying.
Yeah, I think with Indian Jesus, certainly a very experienced driver, and if I'm not mistaken, used to race on pad, now on wheels, so he's used to those more vicious fights up in Tier 1, but now more driving on wheel, so he knows how to work his way through a pack when there's opportunities.
Less than a minute left in the session now.
Free fall jumping up to
DC's
P12.
out. I think he's retired in the pits though.
Yes, looks like it. There's an Aston Martin in the pit lane. There's Jet, I think, now about to set his first lap. Can't see what time it's going to be. Or, no, never mind, that was an outlap. Doing the glitch that you mentioned. Right, we'll hop on board with Gold Paradox then, one on the first. Sorry, the last driver to set a timed lap. Not too long left on the clock. I think just around the 3-minute mark now. No, never mind. 10 seconds left.
12 seconds.
Drivers now on their last laps. I can't count. And we'll see. I think we've had a spinner out of the last corner.
That's
the Red.
Oh yeah,
Bull.
so there is.
The Red Bull
also a
of,
McLaren.
I think War Daddy just crossed the line in time. Ah, it was DeRoy who did that spin. Hop back on
Tobes
board.
is extremely slow down by turn 4, so he will not be improving. There's a Ferrari off as well. That would be free fall.
Yeah, now Liam and Captain Nick finishing their qualifying sessions. No more time to improve for them. As you mentioned, Tobe's not able to defend his provisional pole, so we'll see how Farrell does. Gold Paradox, he's only got one shot at this. The pressure is on for it to be a good lap. And actually similar with Jet having spun.
Strauss goes on provisional pole.
Yeah, Strauss beating Tobes half a tenth there. Gold Paradox rounding final bend, using the outside of the track, and he jumps up into 13th position. Maybe not where he would have wanted, but of course had to play it safe. Farrell now 2 tenths ahead again. Provisional pole for him is Jet. Second fastest, his one and only lap. Clerpiard now down towards the back. I think Knowlesy next to the line, up into P12. Next will be to Will.
10.
And he goes, yeah, 10th fastest. Sorry for the next man, Clerpiard, who jumps. No, doesn't, improves a little bit. Not enough to get back onto the pack. And I think War Daddy, the last man. Yeah, P2 for him.
Oh. 600s between him and pole. Only 2,000, or no, sorry, a tenth and 2,000s ahead of Jet. My bad.
But yeah, there we go. Some very, very close times in the end. 12th and 13th, 1,000th separating those two drivers. And then, whoa, from first down to P18, you're looking at less than 1.1 seconds. So it should be a very good race. But we'll have Farrell starting in that front position for the race. That was a pretty exciting qualifying.
Yeah. I haven't had to commentate on a qualifying in ages. That was more exciting than I remembered.
Right, so yeah, here we go. The results. Farrell, of course, with pole position alongside him in the reserve of War Daddy. Then next row, Jet and Strauss, and Tobes and Steiny. The third row, Liam T. Griff taking up the fourth row, and Captain Nick and Will rounding out the top 10. DC and then DeRoy, the other reserve, in P12. Knowlesy, Hobbsy, Gold Paradox, and 4-star, the last of the drivers within the second of the pole. Then McConey, Freefall, and Clerpiard, and last Indian Jesus with his quali-ban. He'll be looking to work his way back up through the field. I guess we'll have to see what's
It's impressive how close everyone is, but I'm also noticing in the race director there's so few incidents compared to other leagues I've seen. That's quite impressive. These guys are not invalidating much.
Welcome to CRL.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was going to say before, it'd be interesting to see what drivers choose to do tyre-wise. We get more of the usual trend of edging towards the softer compounds near the front and harder compounds near in the back. Of course, the safety cars not going to be unheard of on a track like this. And with that easy overtaking opportunity on the back straight, all you need is a good exit and a mistake from the other driver, and that is you up another position. Bit of a risk of DRS trains down there, but of course always going to be plenty of good action going on. These drivers never seem to want to let us down on that front.
So of course, the question begs to be asked then, Jonathan. Do you have any idea who's going to win? Any predictions?
Not a clue. So Farrell, we know a fast driver, seen him race in Tier 1. He's going to be up there. The reserve, War Daddy in that Red Bull, while he has qualified P2, I think he's going to struggle with a grid like this. Now, of course, we haven't seen him before, so I don't know how experienced he is. But it's possible that there's a bit of a... Actually, to be fair, a little bit like Farrell, where he's really fast in qualifying, and in the race he's going to struggle with that tyre wear, keeping on top of the tyre temperatures, and just in general managing everything that happens during the race. If I had to put my money in someone... I'm going to cheat and look at the quality again because I have slightly forgotten the order. Right, I am going to say... I'm going to say Strauss. Man starting in P4.
Strauss, alright.
I think he's in for a very good shot of the win. We know he can be fast and consistent, and hopefully he isn't taken out by turn 1.
Yeah, of course. Fastest drivers still sometimes get in incidents, so... Already a split of strategies on the front row.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Should give the advantage down to the front line to War Daddy with that extra bit of traction. So we've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 medium runners spread quite nicely across the grid there. And we'll see.
Can you recall which of those two starts on the left side of the grid, though?
Not at all.
The front row? Okay.
I mean, again, I can just
whichever...
check back. Right, pole position's on the left of the grid.
Alright, I'd say Farrell... War Daddy should have the tyre advantage, but I would put my money on the line advantage going to Farrell. He should have a wider entrance to the first corner, and given they're not going the entire length of that straight at full racing speed, I think that could give him an advantage. And Hobbs is disqualified from the formation lap.
Didn't see what happened there, but I assume either caught himself up in a spin off the track or just caught up with someone else in general. Either way, he takes away the advantage to warm up his tyres on the formation lap.
Yeah, not only does that take away the chance to warm them up, it actually automatically resets them down to 70, which is an awful temperature for your tires. I have never been comfortable on tires that were only 70 degrees. Celsius, of course. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit.
Me neither.
Maybe we should just use the superior temperature of Kelvin.
Right, you've asked me who I think who I think's gonna win. Who do you think's gonna get this win?
I'm not sure. I don't know this grid very well. You know what? I'll say, I don't know. Tobes has impressed me in qualifying a couple times. He kept putting himself near the front, and he was 5th in the end. So. Wait for the last people to line up. The final person will be Indian Jesus.
We'll see. Tobes is always one of the drivers who seems to be extremely consistent, and over the seasons he's gradually built up his pace more and more and more. Right, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are up. We'll see who is fastest off the line. On the outside is Farrell on those hard tyres, War Daddy on the mediums.
Good start for Strauss.
Jet immediately up into P2, and a bad start from War Daddy down to P3. Farrell holding on to that P2 position. There's also Strauss up into P3. As you mentioned, Tigriff up 4 positions now in that Haas car. Cannot remember if he was one of the medium runners. Seems the medium's not working for War Daddy. He's now dropped all the way down to P5. Some battles going on here. McLaren and Alpine side by side. The two teams that had that controversy over Oscar Piastri. We'll see DeWill right on the tail of Steiny. Going perhaps a little deep there. And we've had Nolsey go round. What has happened there? I see an intact front wing. Do not know which of the drivers we've caught up with, but him now down 7 positions as the top 2 have built up a bit of a gap to the rest of the field. Second and a half. Strauss got to catch back up the rest. Fowl and Jet possibly going to work together to try and pull away a little bit here. No point fighting too early when you can build time as they all come around that corner onto the big straight. We'll have to keep an eye on those time intervals, see if anyone going for an overtake here. I think Cole Paradox Light might be looking for a move on Captain Nick. He is right on the tail of the Aston Martin car. Got the inside line.
Ooh,
and there we go.
Watch out for the Alpine.
Ooh, and a bit of a... Captain Nick attempting the cutback, taps Cole Paradox on the rear and nearly spins him. Does well to hold it, and I think lets him keep the position. Staying in there 12th and 13th. Bit of changes there between Strauss and Tigriff into turn 1. Tigriff up into P3 position. This fighting going to help the top 2. As there is contact between the two.
Oh, down goes the Alpine trying to get by War Daddy. Steiny still on the inside. It's too wide and then too wide right behind between DeWill and Derugi. Or is that his name?
DeRoy.
Sorry. DeRoy. Oh yes. Sorry. Steiny on the inside of War Daddy though.
Yeah.
Roy around the outside. Can he get it? Down the inside now.
Of course, both these drivers on mediums, as is Steiny, who managed to escape the battle between these two. Stick it back on the tyres. You can see the mediums have in general moved up the order.
Him. A bit deep from War Daddy.
Is he going to hold it around the outside? A yellow flag there, and that is for Tigriff.
That was Tigriff.
Haas drive around, not looking good for Haas, 19th and 20th.
That's also not good for DeRoy. Sorry. DeWill on his inside.
Only giving me nav camera angles. But here we go,
Yeah,
DeWill on the inside, just behind the other two side by side, and still a little bit of contact on the exit, but it seems all intact in terms of cars, and I think DeRoy's managed to hold it ahead in this fight for P3 is the top. We've got another yellow flag, that's for Captain Nick.
Around. You know what though? 4 seconds between Steiny and Jet's only 3/10 off of Farrell.
I was going to comment that the top 2 really taking advantage of this fight here and just running away with the lead, and on the hard tyres as well. So it puts them in a very strong position. This battle for P2 still going on. And very close here for P7.
The top 2 from on board with Steiny.
This is Liam sending it on War Daddy, who has been gradually moving down the order here. The Ferrari, the Alpine and the Red Bull all battling away.
Yeah, those mediums have not worked out for War Daddy, starting 2nd, down to 9th by lap 3.
Of course, I suspected he would struggle a little bit with this grid, and seems did pan out being the case.
It might be wise to take a look at Jet now. So they go on to the long straight. He's got DRS on Farrell.
Yeah, I think too far back.
Seems a bit far back though, yeah.
Just saving his DRS for the future. We'll have a look further down though. Strauss under threat from DeRoy, and DeRoy, yep, up the inside. And into that P4 position on those mediums, making them work well for him.
But you know what? While that was happening, Steiny's caught up nearly a 2nd.
Yeah, you're right. Steiny, it seems, has escaped that battle for what was P3, now becoming for P4. Strauss on DeRoy. Though not extremely close to the Williams driver. Might struggle to close that down a little bit.
Oh, and Liam trying to go down the inside of DeWill. DeWill goes a bit wide, but maintains 6th position.
Here we go. You can see really pushing the limits of the grip there. Much braver driver than I am. Of course, all these drivers, I think, quicker than the both of us. Certainly
Definitely,
quicker
yeah.
than me.
These guys are really quick. They may not be tier 1, but they're tier 2. They're still massively impressive.
And of course, some of these drivers have had their go in tier 1. DeWill's even won 2 championships there way back when.
Ooh,
And we've had a spin. War
that's a
Daddy.
mistake for War Daddy.
Exit of the long straight. That is not the place to go for a spin. Going to lose him a lot of time. Those mediums really not working out for him. We'll see if he decides to go for a tyre change.
I'm wondering if he might be struggling with tire temps on those. Oh, Steiny's round.
Yeah, and he's dropping massively down the order. I think he was P3, wasn't he? And now dropping down to P13.
So that once again gives the top 2 a buffer of 4 seconds.
Yeah, and DeRoy
So
himself is a
this time
buffer
DeRoy.
down to DeWill. Oh, and we've got another spinner there, and Jesus spinning just ahead of Steiny. Another AlphaTauri. Oh, no. The AlphaTauri again having a problem. That's put him down
Inside
to
turn
20th.
2, that's awful. I would not want to find myself there.
Hobbsy and Freefall here. Seems Hobbsy getting the better of the Ferrari driver. The 2 Italian teams battling away. Yeah, I think Hobbsy has got that one complete, especially with Freefall having to keep an eye forwards and backwards with T-Griff on his tail. T-Griff, I think we saw him make a mistake earlier. I remember the 2 Hasses ending up at the back.
Jet is a lot closer to the lead this time. There's a spin for War Daddy again. Jet is only half a second off. He seems a bit too far back still for the lead, though.
I imagine not going to want to do it just yet. I think
it's a lot better under brakes into that corner, though.
Alright, we'll have to keep an eye on that then. I think, yeah, there we go. Liam on Strauss into that hairpin. I was going to say final corner, not the final corner. Also overtakes
3-way battle.
Further down.
Hobbsy makes a mistake.
Just missed out on that, but yeah, Clerpiar getting ahead of the Alfa Romeo, although better exit, it looks like for Hobbsy. No, has not got the traction in the end, not using his ERS. So he's going to remain P16 for the moment. Reminder, points for the top 12 with point system that CRL uses. 30 for a race win, down to 1 for P12. The drivers will of course have that in mind. They're going to want to finish in the top 12. That's their target. That's what makes the difference towards the championship. I think Hobbsy now actually, as he keeps in that gap close to Club PR and then not so much, but I think he's going to want to try and get back past him. Looks to be the quicker driver. Hobbsy we have seen towards the front of the pack in previous seasons, though I did miss the second half of season 7. Let's see some of the drivers now coming on to the long back straight, and I don't think anyone really, I was going to say no one close enough to go for an overtake. No, Steiny has made a move on DC as Knowles made a move on Hobbsy. Now that is not the way round we expected it.
To do it.
On the exit onto the long straight, but he's made it work. We're expecting Hobbsy to have a go at Clur PR, and actually Hobbsy losing out to the Haas driver. But Knowlesy was a bit out of place after his mistake, and Hobbsy's gone round at the hairpin. Same place we saw a mistake, or we just missed seeing the mistake last lap. But making a bit of a habit of that now, not what he wants to be doing. The top 2 runners, been a while since we've had a look at them, but Farrell and Jet just happily running 1 and 2, and I suspect might start scrapping soon. See ERS levels better for Jet at the moment. I think Farrell actively defending a little bit, although we saw Jet using some for a fraction of the time there.
Of course, the top 2 are both doing quite well on ERS. There's a bit of a difference between them, Jet with about 10% more. But then you look back at DeRoy, and he's got only 11% at the moment. So these 2, I'd say, are probably the Jet probably wants to fight Farrell a bit, but DeRoy is really pushing to catch up, I think. Or maybe it's just to keep out of DeWill's DRS range, which DeWill might have just gotten on him, actually. That being said, the top two are only 3.5 tenths apart now.
Yeah, don't think we're going to see an overtake here again. Jet choosing not to deploy ERS. Although considered, had to look down. Just to remind Farrell, still here. Not just going to sit behind you the whole race. And hop on board with Steiny going for his move on 4-star on the inside. So I think possibly an instant between
Jesus and War Daddy,
yeah,
possibly.
Further down the order, Steiny now up into that P10 and Nolsey and Clerc PR. Oh, we're cut back there from the Mercedes driver. I'll be happy with that one.
That was
and a mistake
nice.
from freefall.
Freefall.
Two of them both passing freefall. The Haas going a little bit deep there, trying to avoid a track limits penalty. Possibly a warning there for Nolsey. Possibly knows how to juke the system. And earlier on, just before I hopped in to join Adrian and the party here, I was in a party with Freefall and a few others, and he said, "Look forward to seeing you in the post-race podium interview," and complained and I laughed a little bit, but we'll see how that works out for him. Always a fun driver and has some very fast moments at times, but for the moment sitting way down in P16. I think the race has started to settle down a little bit, but plenty of battles still going on. That battle for P1, still maintaining that gap. Not going to move just yet is Jet. Here we go, Steiny. What a place to go for a move. And Cop Paradox now tucking into the slipstream.
Will's going for that podium position down the inside. Makes it work. Good placement of the car on the exit of the corner, and he's got P3.
Yeah, I missed that one as Steiny and Coparadox having their own battle. Steiny got an excellent move on Coparadox and then had to defend down the long straight, which he managed to do, keep the AlphaTauri driver behind. Destroy right in the tail, and that is a yellow flag. And no, I think that's again for Hobbsy. The same corner for him. I imagine now the frustration that driver is feeling with himself, not going to be great weight to race under.
Strategy, I'd imagine, will all be hards to mediums and mediums to hards. But of course, safety cars could change that at a moment's notice, so...
And all that lead gap has closed down a little bit. Could this be the lap that we finally see Jet go for the move? No, it seems Jet quite slow through this corner compared to Farrell there, and that gap immediately extending from 2 tenths back up to 6. As Tobes goes for a spin. Where's that put him? P13, I think, far enough ahead with the drivers behind to hold on to that.
Just out of the points for him then.
For the moment he will be. Still plenty of the race to go though. 10 laps down, 18 more to go.
Side by side with
actually, no, 9 laps down.
Into the pits.
Ooh, now that is early.
So, presumably putting on hard tires, we shall see though. He does, yes.
Yeah, it almost feels a bit early for that, because he's going to have to take those hards 19 laps. Unless he's hoping for a safety car. Oh, yellow flag somewhere. Hobbsy again, that same last corner. Cannot seem to get the hang of it. Really, really struggling on that corner.
I'm wondering, between Jet and Farrell, I'm wondering if Jet... I think the dirty air might be really hurting him out of that long right-hander onto the straight. Traction's difficult enough as is down there. With the dirty air, you really have to be careful. He has a small snap on the exit, initial traction there, not quite there. Strauss is round.
Yeah, dropping, didn't see where he was before, but dropping down into P10 between DC and T-Griff. And I think not the worst place in the world to crash, but possibly under a little bit of pressure from behind now. And actually, I think because of where he did it, not going to have DRS, despite the fact the drivers around him might do so. That gap between the top two now extended a little bit. Up to
Steiny
8
will,
tenths.
sorry. Yeah, that's, of course. Ooh, yellow flag somewhere. Oh, it's Hobbsy again. Not the Alfa Romeo driver's day.
No, not looking great for him. And actually, it was just Strauss we saw spin as well, wasn't it? So both Alfa Romeos struggling.
Right at the same place on these laps, in particular.
See
Steiny, of course, yeah, he's looking at the back of War Daddy right now. He will, of course, be our first sort of show of what's better, the undercut or the overcut.
Yeah, the Alpine driver acting as a bit of a guinea pig for the rest of the grid. See how he compares up to those going a bit later. Of course, starting on the mediums, he's inclined to pit a little bit earlier. They're not going to go as far, but I think 9 laps on the mediums, not utilising them quite as much as he could be. But if you lose confidence in the tyre, you are not going to want to remain on them.
So he's pulled it back into a 7.5 tenth gap, but for a moment there, Jet was actually...
To interrupt there, Captain Nick going for a spin in the same place we saw Hobbsy and Strauss do the previous lap. Steiny on the tail of the Red Bull here, down the long straight, got the DRS. And I think on the inside, going to be making the move up into P16 on those fresh hard tyres. McConey into the pits on his mediums.
So, Farrell keeps pulling over a second ahead of Jet, and Jet keeps closing it back down to this around 7.5 tenth gap. So, ooh.
Got a yellow, though I didn't see which driver that was for, and I didn't actually see anyone slowing down there.
Ooh, McConey's round.
That was McConey, yeah.
Of course, Steiny's just taken the fastest lap. A bit late for this, but we have some pretty high gainers and some pretty low losers in terms of position from qualifying. Cole Paradox at the moment and 4-star both up 9 positions. War Daddy down 14.
Yeah, then Steiny down 9, and also Captain Nick down 8. So a few drivers going each way, but Farrell holding on to that pole position he started with. P1, the place he wants to be on those hard tyres. See, 4-star not able to get the move done on Cole Paradox, and that is DeWill and DeRoy into the pits there. 4-star staying out on the mediums. Just 1 or 2 medium runners left out on track. We'll see if War Daddy goes in as well.
Makes a move on Clark. How do you pronounce that?
I just say Claire PR. I don't know if it's correct or not, but I haven't had any complaints thus yet. We'll see. Does the Red Bull choose to pit? Yes, he does, leaving 4-star, the last man, to start on the mediums. As you can see, struggling into the pit entry there. Have to watch how 4-star does behind Cole Paradox here.
Jet is quite close to the back of Farrell again. That's definitely a battle worth watching. It's of course for the race lead, both of them on hards, so on the same strategy, presumably.
Yeah, ERS numbers a little bit closer, 5% difference now, and actually I think this is the closest we've seen him yet be. Is he going to go for the move? It's going to hurt his tyres and in general give him dirty air staying behind, but he's still not using his ERS, not deploying it, choosing to stay behind.
To the inside.
Yeah, looks to the inside, but no, too far back to really go for a move unless he forces a mistake from the Williams car. Four-star actually looks as if we're managing fairly well on these medium tyres. I do wonder at what point he is going to choose to pit. I possibly think he pushes them one more lap, given how he was handling them this time. We'll see. He's of course the expert here. His line implies, yep, into
lap,
the pits. Yeah. Of course, now on the outside, concrete now
avoid
used to be
pulling
sand.
a Hamilton.
Yep. Well, you can't anymore. There's no longer a gravel trap.
You can still lock up.
And it's a point side by side here for Strauss and T-Griff. T-Griff, I think, getting it into first turn, this sweeping right-hander that keeps him going.
Steiny takes another fastest lap, so this is looking good for people trying to undercut, probably.
Yeah, of course, on the hard tyres, but he pushes them too far. He's not going to have much left for the end of the race. Have to keep an eye on him. And that's yellow, and that is for Hobbsy in the last sector. See, not too many battles on track. Still no moves between the top two, keeping it, well, trying to keep it a boring race. The rest of the field not allowing that to happen.
I was watching Jet through that long right-hander, and I gotta say, he's looking really, really careful on those. Oh, Farrell's into the pits.
Oh wow. Okay, so he's going to do 14 laps on the hards, 14 laps on the mediums. That's longer than any of the medium runners choose to take it the first stint.
It's an impressive decision, but it's only one lap more than I think it was 4-star decided to do.
DeRoy clipping the rear of Clerpiar, spinning him round, and that'll almost certainly be a 3-second penalty if that gets reported. And then side by side back here between Captain Nick and McConey, yet to see who is ahead. I think McConey, yeah, chopping in front of the Aston Martin, who is choosing to go into the pit lane. Same strategy as Farrell there, and also Strauss following that through. Yeah, no, that was quite bad. Was it? I can't remember who spun Clerpiar. I've already forgotten.
I think he said it was free fall, but I could be completely wrong.
I can go back and check.
Oh, War Daddy sets the fastest lap. So, an upturn in pace from him from the rest of the race.
Yeah, I guess maybe now he's in clean air, it's much better suited to him. It was DeRoy who tapped Clerpiar.
Ah.
So we'll see if that one ends up in the reports channel. Later on, at the moment, driver's job, head down, focus on the race.
Jet will be presumably, I would imagine he'll be pushing like mad right now. He's worn out a lot of his ERS already. He's down to only 20-something%. So.
There we go. DeRoy going for a move on free fall. And Nathan calling Liam to get the win here. Certainly possible. Bit of a gap down to Jet, but I think that has been gradually closing. This free fall, I don't know if he was letting Steiny through on his old tyres or what, but looked for the overtaking the driver ahead and then left in the dust there. I think, yeah, there we go, into the pit, struggling on these old hard tyres. Driver choosing to right, let's see if we can find any battles a bit less now as everyone chopping and changing into the pits. A battle here between the Williams and the Alpine. Such similar colours, sometimes you can't even tell which is which. Certainly don't always do a good job at differentiating the two blue blobs. Here we Go War Daddy side by side with Freefall backing out a little bit. Freefall on the outside, and there we go, gets his foot down more on those fresh medium tyres straight out of the pits. That has worked well for him. A couple places up also on fairly fresh mediums. Strauss and DC, they appear to be battling pretty closely, although both on the fresh mediums, they'll want to have their eyes forward, looking to get past the other drivers. And actually, having said that, Freefall is repassed again by War Daddy.
That was just a bit. Oh, Jet's into the pits. Jet is in. So's Liam.
Have to keep an eye then on where he comes out of the pits.
Griff as well, and Cole Paradox.
Any of them
Tobes
not pitting?
follows them in.
Tobes in. Right, okay, let's get on board with Farrell then. Jet now leaving the pit lane. Farrell setting the fastest lap on those mediums.
Farrell's gonna.
And he's got him. He's got the
here.
Mercedes.
That's a big gap now as well.
Nolsey.
That overcut
Ooh.
has paid. Wow, look at that gap.
Yeah. Nearly 5 seconds. That's the gap we saw down from the front two to further down the order now. So of course Farrell is going to struggle later on in the race in his tyres. But that gap alone might be enough to help secure him. Race he's looking for. So Nolsey now essentially traffic for the rest of them. Still needs to pit. I suspect pitting at the end of this lap. Hobbsy possibly about to go into the pits down in P20 now further down the order.
I am taking notes from my race here on Saturday in another league. Do not pit late. I mean, with that pit stop, Farrell's pulled himself from, about, 4 to 9/10 at any given time to 5.6 seconds back. And that's what, he pitted, I think, 2 laps earlier?
Yeah,
That's
only 2
3
laps
seconds
earlier.
a lap. That's unbelievable.
So here we go, a bit of a battle here for P10 developing behind McConey on hard tyres. All these drivers on fresh mediums, various ages behind them. Strauss is to be up to temperature. It's T-Griff. There we go.
Down the
Put it
inside.
alongside the Alpine. Anyone
Pretty
else
much got him before braking.
going for a move? I think DC might be cheeky and try and get up the inside here. No, staying behind, although you did see a little bit of a alongside. Camera angle's not favouring us that particular time, but there we go. Nolsey, Clerpiar are into the pits, and Hobbsy. I missed it when it happened, but yeah, as expected, did come into the pits. Side by side through first corner. DC McConey. Coney on the inside for the second part of the corner, but DC traction on the outside on those medium tyres. And actually, no, he hasn't got the move complete yet. The right-hander might aid him, though. I think, yeah, up into P9 behind Strauss. A view of the fight. He'll be trying to choose his moment to pounce. Possibly two of them make a mistake, get both at once. So weaving through this technical section. McConey, his tyres can be hurting more now for the moment. Might be doing a bit better later on as War Daddy
goes for another spin.
Yeah, really seems to be struggling. There's action between Strauss and Cole Paradox. If the camera will catch up, there we go. Coming onto the main straight, anyone looking for moves here? Strauss a better exit than the Alpine ahead. McConey under threat again. Seems struggling a little bit on these tyres. You can see further up the road, sort of T-Griff alongside Four-Star, and I think he's got that move complete.
Ooh, are they going to go 3 wide? No, not quite. McConey's a bit far back for 3 wide, but that's McConey down 2 positions in 1 straight.
Yeah, McConey at the front of that pack just 2 laps ago, now right the way down to the back of it. And actually Strauss, Paradox losing out, dropping behind the rest of them. Four-Star now in amongst this slot. Another driver on the hard tyres. Seems to be struggling against the fresher mediums. Hard medium proven, well, at the moment showing to be the better strategy, though of course they do have the strength in numbers. More drivers chose that strategy to go for.
And as we see now, Liam is only 3/10 off of DeWill. He's also got fresher, softer tires. I would say we can expect something maybe into the hairpin at the end of the lap this lap.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that time gap at the moment on board with the Club PR and Captain Nick's fight. Down in P16th, not in points at the moment, but of course they can still try and work their way in that direction. Right, we're hopping board now with Liam out the exit of this corner. Slower exit actually than the McLaren. I don't think he's going to be going for a move this lap. Certainly doesn't have a lot of ERS to expend here. I think saving it for future. A little bit of a lock up there, possibly DeWill breaking early on those hard tyres, forcing him to brake more than expected. How about DeWill looking for, DC looking for a cutback on 4-star. Again, fresh medium tyres looking to get past driver on the hard tyres.
Oh, down the inside of turn 1 for Liam. And he's got the move on DeWill. Into turn 1, that's an impressive one.
Yeah, Liam's struggling DeWill struggling for traction a little bit on the exit there and already dropping back to 4/10. Only caught the tail end of that, good catch by you there. But yeah, Liam now wants to just close that gap down as much as possible. Nathan called him for the potential win. I think a second a lap is a big ask on a track like this, but we will have to see.
Jet has started closing the gap to Farrell. Brought it down to 4 seconds from the nearly 6 that it was earlier.
Yeah, I think Farrell pitting earlier, we saw how much time he built from that, but actually it might come back to bite him, being on the older medium tyres in the end, pit after just 14 laps. Gave him track position, avoided the fight for a little bit. There's no guarantee that lasts forever. Oh, Indian Jesus a little bit wide there.
Game's crashed.
Oh, your game's crashed?
Yeah.
Right, well, try and use the invite in the group, but if you can't then let me know and I will send you one.
I should be able to use the one from the group.
Yep, so here Indian Jesus trying to line up Club PR, that gap coming down 4/10, 3/10, now just 2/10. Up into the inside using that DRS, and I think that move is complete. Club PR doesn't do much defending. Gets cut off, and there we go. Ooh, a little tap on the rear. Yeah, not really in the position here to try and get that back until later on, and that is Indian Jesus up into P17. Although Club PR coming back now on the main straight round the outside of turn 1, we'll see what he can do there. Holding it for the moment. If you can hold the first bit, you've got the inside for the left-hander, and hang on, Club PR, has he just got a mighty move? I think he has, yeah, up into P17. There we go, how about that? Outside of turn 1. What a move by the Mercedes driver.
I'm sorry to have missed that, I just got back into the lobby. But did you say that was around the outside of turn 1?
Yes, outside of turn 1, and then completed it on the exit of turn 2.
That's insane, how is that even possible?
Did have 2 laps fresh and medium tyres, but even still, we've got a spinner there, Captain Nick going round in the middle sector. Giving a few positions to other drivers. And Tobes and Coney there, missed that one. But into the hairpin, Tobes, braking point perfect. Coney couldn't go for the cutback as he wanted and just had to slot in behind.
Ooh,
Indian Jesus
Indian
also
Jesus
spinning.
round.
See Captain Nick
Ooh,
go
that was
past.
close between him and Captain Nick.
Yeah, I can't believe Club PR got that. Perfectly caught on the streams, you can go back and watch it.
Might just have to go do that.
And actually they are bringing back overtake of the season, which for those who don't know, videos should hopefully be coming up on the channel weekly once all 4 tiers are raced, and I reckon that might be a contender for one of them. go. That gap down to 3 seconds now. Actually, Liam seems losing time to Jet. Jet at the moment appears to be the fastest man on the track, unless I'm mistaken. Although Indian Jesus with the fastest lap. I don't think there's a way you can get it to show you everyone's previous lap. But starting to close down, Farrell might feel a little bit of pressure now. 22 laps down, just 6 to go.
I don't know how long ago this was, but there's a comment on the YouTube stream from Nathan saying Liam to win at the end, and then a looking emoji.
Yeah, I did actually mention that earlier. That was 13 minutes ago.
Oh.
Oh, hang on. Battle here at 4P9. 4-star Strauss and Cole Paradox. Strauss on the inside of 4-star. Cole Paradox seeing if he can get his nose in himself, but no, it seems not able to get involved with this. 4-star looking to get back. Not happening in the end. Very, very close between the three drivers. AlphaTauri on the back of Red Bull, on the back of Alfa Romeo. Seems to have slightly settled down for the moment. You really need to be able to customise what camera angles it does and doesn't use, because some of these are rubbish. Be better, Codemasters.
It's not the only thing they need to improve, to be fair. As Indian Jesus is going onto the soft tires in the pits, so he may be going for fastest lap.
He's already got fastest lap. I think he's going for faster lap. Or
Fasterest lap.
fasterest lap, yeah. Go for that. So here we go, Cole Paradox having a slight look at 4-star in the end, choosing not to do it, of course. 4-star with the DRS from Strauss up ahead to Roy behind the wheel. Got DRS, though, using his ERS to try and close that gap down a little more. We'll have to see if this develops to anything of battle for P4, and actually the two of them possibly going to be able to close down on Liam as the race comes towards close. Those harder tyres going to be more of an advantage then. Gap between the top two now down to 2.5 seconds. Farrell led this race pretty much from start to finish here. Of course, it did put him back for...
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he did the undercut, but no, it worked perfectly for him. Built a massive gap that is now coming down. The Williams driver for the moment in control of things. Just waiting for later on when he's got to do a little bit of defending. I think some action possibly here for P9. Not too many points further down. Was it P9 battle? There's going to be 6 points, 10 points, and 2 points for 9th, 10th, and 11th hit. Actually, Tobes is involved as well. So the last 4 point positions here. In the championship, you always want to start the best you can, even if you made a few mistakes later on. That good start can give you that boost. So practice that bit more. So we've missed an overtake between Steiny and T-Griff, the two IRT drivers. In fact, all the IRT drivers now joined up in 5th, 6th, and 7th here.
So Jet has pulled himself within 2 seconds of Farrell. So question is for me, I think, is that's War Daddy, I think, around again.
Yep.
But yeah, my question is, the gap between the top two is shrinking. Is that pace on the mediums, or is Farrell... Oh, excuse me! Oh, sorry. I got halfway through sneeze and stopped, sorry. Sorry. Is that tire wear, or does Jet have better pace on the mediums?
Well, I think given what we saw earlier, it is going to be the tyre wear, of course. When the mediums were completely fresh, Farrell gained loads of time doing the undercut, then Jet gained that time back once Farrell was kind of in the medium zone of the tyres, and once the tyres get to their really worn phase, Farrell again going to be at that disadvantage. Gap now 1.2, and we're really going to have to keep an eye on that, see what happens. Of course, I also want to keep an eye on this Now P10 battle. Strauss got away a little bit from them. Not a massive amount, but enough that doesn't have to be quite so worried anymore. Indian Jesus, of course, as we expected, getting the fastest lap. Gap is up to 1.4 now between the top two. It does seem they're good at different parts of the circuit. Tobes opting not to go for a move into the hairpin. Each four star goes a little bit deep. The mediums, can he do anything with them? No, not quite close enough. Possibly onto the main straight. We've seen some overtakes into turn one.
Got a better exit. Looked like he went a bit wide. Might be warning there, but he did have a pretty good exit.
You know what, you're right, we've not seen a single penalty. I'm sure I've seen some things that should have been warnings, but not once have I seen a penalty being given to anyone this race. The drivers have been remarkably good at staying within track limits, or knowing how to abuse them. Probably a mixture of the two.
Yeah, probably. It's an entertaining mixture, I have to say, but probably a mixture, yeah.
I imagine not quite as bad as the... I don't know if you saw the iRace in 24 Hours of Daytona. The BMW LMDH or whatever it's called, rather than on the banking, taking the banking, just went on the apron on their qualifying lap.
Oh boy.
So yeah,
what did the stewards think of that?
I think the driver themselves got disqualified, but the team were allowed to keep their position.
That is confusing.
Unless I've misunderstood what happened. But anyway, ooh, now, hang on, I just saw that gap between the front two down to less than a second. Not quite getting the DRS down the front straight, but I think Farrell now going to be under pressure. We're going to keep our eyes mostly on this front battle. Farrell on the older tyres.
Farrell and Jett are both... Oh, there we go, there's our first penalty.
Had to go and open my mouth.
So Jett and Farrell are both pushing like crazy. I mean, Jett was on 0% ERS down that main straight, and Farrell was at about 10%, so about 10% difference between the two.
Yeah, Hobbsy
but
in the pits.
Neither of them with much.
So Hobbsy in the pits for fresh softs. Possibly going to have the fastest lap battle with Indian Jesus now, see who can get it in the end. I think he is only going to have one attempt at that on his last lap, and possibly in amongst traffic at the moment as well.
Well, being lapped, or yeah, no, you're right. Should have one attempt, so we'll see if he can take it from Indian Jesus there.
Right, here we go. 6/10 between the front two, although Farrell a much, I'd say, better exit through the corner.
Oh,
Captain Nick, is that...
Nick retires in the pits, I think.
Oh, right, a pit lane retirement. Okay, that's a shame with 2 laps to go. The gap not close enough to go for the move here, but that's certainly come down from the 6 seconds it once was, down to just 3/10 we saw at one point. Jett slower entry into the corner, but faster exit out of it. Now just one more lap.
Out.
Here we go, last chance to make the move. What can you do? He's pressuring the driver. He's closed down that gap. He's got the fresher tyres. Of course, neither driver with a whole lot of ERS here. In fact, an identical amount, both sitting on 11%. Oh, and apparently my battery's low as well, so that isn't great. We'll see what he can do. It is going to be that back straight. He's not going to want to go for the move before that because he risks having been taken back.
Chance. It all comes down to this.
Really needs
to try. How can you manage this technical section, and how can you exit onto the straight?
Yeah, I mean, I think he needs to close the gap a little bit more if he wants to try and get the move done. He's going to have better tyres, but of course dirty air here. He is closing it down to 5/10. See what he can do.
He's going to need a serious dive if he wants this to work.
It's a good exit here. No, I think he's too inside here. He's going to lose exit speed. We will see slightly more grip on the tyres, perhaps. No. But he's now gaining a little time. Of course, both drivers deploying all the DRS they have. DRS now coming into play. This is going to have to be the send of the century. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to stay behind? We will have a look. He is going to
He
go
goes
for it. And he's through side by side. Neither driver yet coming out on top. Jet on the outside.
Oh God, last corner, last lap.
Who's got it side by
Contact.
side? Farrell pushing Jet wide there, and Jet getting a
Oh,
10-second
Jet
corner cutting penalty.
10
Oh no!
seconds.
I imagine the stewards will be revoking that one, giving him that back. But I wonder if Farrell will get a penalty for pushing him wide. A few other drivers coming down to the line where they're going to end up here. Steiny, next man to the line with his 3-second time penalty, actually going to put him behind T-Griff and DC, I think, in the end. And Strauss, load of them coming in here. Tobes finishing out the points position. We'll run through the order later. McConey, P13. Next will be Nolsey. Then free fall a little bit further back. Who did get a fastest lap in the end? I assumed it remained, in the hands of Indian Jesus. Hobbsy a half second off that. Clerpiart coming around the last corner after his amazing overtake around the outside of turn 1. I'll have to ask him for his footage of that. Won't be able to show it now, but hopefully it will appear in the overtake of the week compilation.
Has Indian Jesus just ran out of fuel, I think.
Yes, I think you're right. Hobbsy commenting, when's F123 out? But yeah, there we go. That concludes the race. Farrell getting the win provisionally, because I'm going to say that in case he gets a penalty for pushing DeRoy wide. We saw... Wait, no, hang on. Pushing Jet wide in that last
Indian
corner.
Jesus gets 10 seconds as well.
But yeah, to run through the order, Farrell, I suspect Jet will be P2, though he was showing P3. The stewards will certainly revoke that. Sorry, remove that 10-second time penalty. Then Liam, DeWill, DeRoy, P5, T-Griff P6, DC P7, Steiny P8, Strauss P9, Paradox P10, and Forster on toes finishing out that top 10. Sorry, top 12. So, the points. Captain Nick's early retirement was because he ran out of fuel. Here we go. Farrell getting that win. First race of the season. Be happy with that one. Especially after
I know
being
I'd be happy if I were him.
Yeah. A big fight in his hand at the end. Right, so here we go, run through the order. Now I am going to assume that Jet gets his 10-second removed because it really should be removed, and it's the kind of thing that stewards will do. But here we go, Farrell getting that win, that P1, that 30 points. Then Jet probably going to get P2, Liam P3, DeWill P4, DeRoy P5. Then the less controversial bits, T-Griff P6, DC7, Steiny 8, Strauss 9, got Paradox 10, 4-star 11, 12 for Tobes, finishing the points. McConey a little bit off that. Nolsey, Freefall, Glurpiart, War Daddy struggling a little bit on his debut. Indian Jesus, P18, getting the fastest lap. Hobbsy, P19, and Nick out of fuel, had to stop in the pits, P20. But there we go, we'll try and invite the drivers in for a post-race interview. Now the question is, do we invite Jet or DeWill?
I would assume
Both.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go. I'm in a very actually you also can't be heard at the moment. You can ask me questions and make me sound insane.
Oh, I can't be heard? Cool. Do I need to come up with questions myself?
It's just while I'm in the menu PlayStation. Hang on, sorry, I gotta find the drivers first. So if you give me a second, I will try and get our podium boys in for an interview. and entertain you on the blank screen you are currently looking at. Right, so Liam in that Ferrari. Oh, can you message them in the Discord and let them know we are doing an interview? And that I'll be inviting the top 3 and Jed.
Top 3 and Jed. Cool. So that was...
So that's Farrell, Liam, DeWill and Jed. And hopefully this actually works. Right.
Right. No, I got it, okay. I thought I added the wrong guy for a moment.
Right, can you tell DeWill that I can't yet hear him because my internet's funny and it'll be like 20 seconds.
He hasn't spoken yet, but DeWill Jonathan can't hear you for like 20 seconds because of his internet.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations on your either P3 or P4.
I think it will be P4, but yeah.
I suspect as well, but yeah. Well, you would have fairly... Actually, we missed out on the battle between you and DeRoy at the end, as we were focusing on the lead battle. Do you want to just quickly go through that while we're waiting for the others to join? Right, Farrell, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Nice. Well, first off, congratulations on the win. Last corner looked a little bit interesting. Do you think fair defending on your front, or perhaps a bit too heavy?
Yeah, nah, I think so. Like, I was on the inside, I was ahead. Yeah, I think turned in a little bit earlier than I was expecting, and then just hit off the car. But I just took the line as normal. Like, it's you can only really get one car into the corner anyway. So yeah, not much in it, I think.
Yeah, of course, I'm sure you saw he got that 10-second time penalty. We're expecting it will be removed by the stewards post
Yeah,
race.
good old Cody's game, giving him a 10-second pen for losing time.
Yeah. Right, then let's move on to Liam. You got your P2, probably going to end up being P3.
Definitely P3.
Yeah. How did you find that? You ended up in a bit of no man's land, not able to catch the two being fast at the front, at the same time not really under threat from behind.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when the race started, I dropped way down the field on those hards, and I thought, ooh, okay, maybe this is going to be harder than I expected. But once, especially when I got on the mediums and I got that pace, the car feels so good around China. I love this track, so it's kind of nice to push. Do-Wheel was close to me for quite a while until I put on a bit of ERS, and I think I just let him into Rouge, or I don't know how to pronounce it, fight. But after that, it was calm. But yeah, it wasn't the most entertaining race, but I was in the party chat with Jet, so
Right.
seeing their battle was quite tense.
Yeah, hello. Jet, I mean, your opinion on that last couple of corners battle?
Game's rigged.
Yeah, I think everyone expects that 10-second penalty to be removed. Would you say fair defended?
I mean, yeah, in all due respect, yeah, I sent it from about 4 postcodes back the corner before, so I was always expecting a tap, but I wasn't expecting the penalty.
Yeah, sorry, I'm out of practice at this because I missed half of last season. Have I asked you all a question? I think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right, so next round is going to be Interlagos. Any good, bad, not a fan, love it? We'll start with...
It's
For,
alright.
Alright, Farrell, you won this one. How do you think you're going to do round next time?
Brazil, it's always tight, like, the gaps are so small and all that, so one tiny mistake in qualifying and all of a sudden then you're back in like P9, P10, and then who knows what's going to happen there. Like, I mean, we saw this race, like, the whole reason me and Jet were able to build a gap was because there was carnage behind, and then all of a sudden we were 5 seconds clear, and then it was just about not spinning then, and I think like we made little mistakes, but it just seemed to balance out each other the whole time. And then DRS was crap, so Jet wasn't really able to do anything, which was really weird. I expected a breeze pass on lap 3, like, but
yeah. I was trying to stick behind because very quickly I noticed that I did not put enough fuel in the car.
Ah, yes.
So from about lap 8, I was like minus, so I was like coasting. So when you pit, that was just my go sign.
Yeah. Actually, Captain Nick, his retirement, because he ended up running out of fuel in the end.
We also saw Indian Jesus run out of fuel on the last lap.
Yeah, I ran out of fuel on the last corner. And I still got a penalty.
that would have been even funnier. Imagine if you had overtaken me and then you ran out of fuel on the last straight.
Oh god.
Then you really would have been cursed.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it in the end? Actually, yeah, you ended up being 1.3 seconds behind in the end, because you're running out of fuel, and that's on track time.
Yeah.
So, well, I think I'm gonna let you guys go celebrate your podium and DeWill your P4. Apologies for the awkward interview. I'm out of practice, but hope that race was as fun for you guys to drive as it was for us to watch.
Congratulations to you four.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice one.
Yeah, see you guys.
Oh, thank God for War Daddy.
Right.
He was the reason why me and Farrell got like a second gap. He had a terrible start and just because he was on the inside as well.
I was so happy as well because he was on the mediums.
Oh yeah.
and he was fast as well, like, so I thought I thought he was going to smoke us like in the first stint. And then did he spin or something? And then all of a sudden, like, by
he
the end
spun
of,
loads. It was a
like
minute down at
several
the end.
times.
But by the end of lap 2, like we were 5 seconds clear, and I was like, what's going on back there?
And then I saw Steiny getting up, and I was like, oh god, here it comes. And then he spun as well.
Yeah.
He set fastest lap and then spun then the very next lap.
Did you guys put like a magic spinning border a few seconds behind you or something? Like...
Well, because I had that border as well, but I just managed to hold on to it because when I was like losing it, I was losing it at slow traction, so I was only going about like 70 miles an hour anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I was the same, like I kept losing it at the last hairpin, and Jack was gaining so much time on me every time.
Yeah, and that final stint as well.
Oh, the final stint, I was just managing the tyres. Like, the undercut was crazy, and then I was just like, right, I'll just hold on to it and keep some ERS in until the end.
I was surprised you picked that early.
Can I quickly interrupt you guys? If you're still watching, which is apparently one person, might even be me, go watch Tier 1. We're just blabbing now. I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for watching. And
Oh, I thought you were at the end of the stream.
yeah, bye from me, go watch Tier 1. See you all next week at Interlagos.